Welcome back to Up Close. The mother of Eric Garner, Gwen Carr. She has been a powerful force fighting for justice since that chokehold scene around the world killed her son back in July of 2014. Also with her, an outspoken advocate in this case as well, Reverend Kirsten John Foy, and both of you, I thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Both of you said you thought the decision this past week by the NYPD Commissioner O'Neill was no time to celebrate.
No.
Why did you say that? What did you mean by that? And why do you still think there's so much to do?
Well, first of all, this decision took 5 years, and we feel like the officer should have been fired at least 5 or 4.5 years ago. And now there's other officers who need to stand accountable for their actions that day. It wasn't only Pantaleo. There was at least a dozen more officers who was on the scene who did nothing to reserve my son's life. There was even officers who lied on official reports. There were officers who stood by and did absolutely nothing. And, you know, this is all, you know, this has to be addressed, I think.
Well, let's start with each of those and parse them out if we could. Mm-hmm. The city could have fired him back then, but the police department at the time said, you know what? Let's look and let's wait to see if the criminal justice runs its course. So the DA on Staten Island, they didn't indict.
No,
the grand jury didn't indict it.
No.
They didn't bring charges without the indictment. The federal government, 2 administrations, President Obama and President Trump, looked into this.
Absolutely.
They didn't do it. And Mayor de Blasio said if we had to do it again, we would have taken our own action. We thought the courts were the first way to go.
Yes, this is what he said, but I just felt like he should have did what he thought was right first. And there has been cases where the federal government didn't act immediately, but the NYPD did take action. So this is what I wanted them to do. I didn't want to wait for the federal government. I didn't want to wait for anyone. I wanted the NYPD to take a stand. It was recommended for charges to go for Pantaleo since 2015, since January 2015, and nothing was done. So this is where my anger came in. Well, why are you just sitting back? You think it's going to go away, but it wasn't going to go away.
But he did get fired eventually.
Yes, he did.
And when the city finally said, we've tried him, we're going to fire him, you said it's not time to celebrate, but it must have given you some sense of justice.
It gave me a sense of we were going in the right direction, because had not this officer been fired, people said, well, wow, what is the police officers, what is the administration doing? They can see on video that they murdered my son, and we seen a lot of things when we went to the trial that I didn't even know about that further incriminated them, and they were incriminating themselves.